The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he had sat down, his disciples came to him. He began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. Thus they persecuted the prophets who were before you." The Gospel of the Lord.
Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Thus they persecuted the prophets who were before you. One of those prophets that Jesus is talking about is Elijah, that we heard about in our first reading. And we don't hear right there any of the actual persecution that he will suffer throughout the rest of the book of Kings, and which we will hear about for the next 2 weeks in the daily Mass readings. But why does he go off to the Wadi Cherith and drink from a stream and is fed by ravens? Because if he shows his face in Israel, the king of Israel will have him killed. He is persecuted because he is zealous for the Lord, because he's calling Israel back to true worship. And in that way, he's one of these souls who have hungered and thirsted for righteousness, who wants to be right with the Lord, and he's disappointed with himself because he's not all he thinks he should be. At one point, we won't hear this in the daily readings, but at one point he says, "Lord, take my life, for I am no better than my fathers." That is, I am no better than those who have been before me and turned away from you. Even though I've been trying to serve you, I can't do it still. It would be better, Lord, that I die. And in that moment, God says, "Step out, and I will pass by." And God ends up speaking to him in that still small voice, in that way that Elijah doesn't expect. But in that moment of God speaking to him, Elijah finds that satisfaction that our Lord says those who hunger for righteousness will find. They will be satisfied. Elijah is satisfied. He goes out, he doesn't complain about his life again after that. He goes out and becomes more a servant of the Lord. He ordains a successor to follow him, Elisha. He anoints a new king for Israel that will become king after Ahab dies. And he sees in that the hand of God working, even though he had suffered through everything that had gone before, even suffering being fed by birds in a cave in a lonesome valley. Today at Mass, and during this time of pandemic, we've been receiving our Lord under strange circumstances, but we haven't been fed by birds. We can be thankful that we are still able to receive God every day. And we can ask him, as we hunger and thirst for him, to satisfy us every time we receive him. So when we approach communion today, let's remember how Elijah was persecuted as he hungered and thirsted for righteousness. and ask the Lord to help us hear his voice, which he's constantly giving to us in still small ways, so that we too may be satisfied and may be consoled in our sufferings.